Let's see who we've got in the workshop this morning. Let's give me a chance to catch up. Get old YouTube up on the screen. Maybe YouTube's going to behave itself this morning. Almost. One more go. Boom. It's quite cold down here this morning. There we go. That's what we're after. Right. Let's see who's in the workshop. Come on, chat. Wake up. Simon. Good morning, Simon Rawle. Welcome back, matey. I got your parcel. We're going more about that shortly. Simon says, good morning, Andy and crew. Hit the like button as early as that, straight off the bat. Hit the like. Why not? 8 likes and 3 viewers. How is that possible? Oh, 7 viewers now. How is that possible? Roger Heaps. Good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Roger. And yes, quite enjoyed that last little video that you sent me via Messenger. That was fun, was that? Good job. Mike Bazansky. Ooh, new toys. I mean, tools. Yes, well, they are really sort of toys, aren't they? And we've got a few bits and pieces to discuss. And, well, I sort of need your help on one thing, just to see if anybody else has done that particular job. But we'll get to that again a bit later on. Richard Perry. Good morning, Richard. Hi, Andy and crew from GB. Good job, mate. George Bonnie 90. Hello, everybody. Good morning, George. Welcome back to the workshop, sir. Mike Bazansky. Here we go. Good morning, crew and Andy. Yes, good morning, Mike. Commiserations about your bike and the output shaft. That's bad news, isn't it? Have you managed to find a new one yet? And planned your attack? It's a big job. KR Moto, good morning, Andy. I hate all those damn commercials on this YouTube starting to really annoy me. There is a lot more commercials coming on YouTube, I must admit. It's something that I've noticed more. I have also seen, probably as a direct result of that, an increase in people going for the YouTube Premium. Not trying to sell that at all. Obviously, it's a subscription-based, viewing, but it does eliminate all the adverts. And as a creator, just so you're aware, as a creator, we do still get revenue from those videos when somebody views it through that method. But yeah, there's a lot of adverts. I watch a few YouTube videos when I'm not too busy or if I'm waiting to get a flight or something. That hasn't happened for a while. Yeah, more adverts. And also when YouTube, there's an option where you can automatically get YouTube to place the adverts on a video that you've made. It puts them about every 5 minutes, which is way too close. So I delete all those and then I put them in manually. And I've started to plan where the adverts go as I'm editing the videos as well, which I think works a lot better. Tries to sort of, not interrupt the video too much, but we do have to have a few adverts on there. Otherwise, it doesn't bring any money in, and it needs to bring a little bit of money in. Kiyamoto, done that one. Simon, no beans in that one. If there is, Simon, it's a very, very, very small tin. Yes, I was very pleased to see this. I used to go up to the, well, there you go. Great segue. Thanks, Simon. Went up to Auckland, Zombieland, twice last week. Once on Tuesday and again on Thursday. I was going to do it back to back, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I'm very pleased that I didn't. It gave me Wednesday to sort of unload and reload and get organised. And it's a lot of driving, so it just broke it up a little bit as well. 3 ROVs to take up, that little Suzuki King Quad, and a motorcycle as well. So all those now are back up in Auckland with at the relevant locations. And I was able to pick up a lot of supplies that have been sat there waiting for ages, including, and I'll show you a bit later on, another batch of those front suspension braces. They're all stacked up on the bench. I've done nothing with them yet. I set my mind to doing some concreting over the weekend. Well, yesterday we got all that done, which was fantastic. We absolutely completely cleared our entire stock of what they call builder's mix over here, which is the sand and gravel mix to make the concrete. I think we had one, not tractor bucket full, we had literally one bucket full. When I'm mixing my concrete, I have I think it's a 60-litre tub, really strong black plastic thing it is. It's used for, I think I bought some diff oil in it once. So I use that as a measuring aid. So it gets, for this, when I'm doing a load in the cement mixer, I do 3 of those full of sand and gravel, builder's mix, and then half of one of those with the cement. So basically it's sort of 6-to-1. And it works out really well, actually. I've sort of got it fine-tuned now. I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, we pretty much ran out. Almost ran out. It was very close. Very, very close. But the end result was brilliant. Mrs. Mechanic did a great job. She should get a job icing cakes, to be honest, because she's really good at smoothing out the old concrete. So yeah, another little part of the carport is finished. Today, after the live stream, I've got one more post to put up. As you come up the driveway, it's on the left-hand side. I've done the right-hand post because that was part of the concreting job. Left-hand post to go up, and then it's going to give it sort of little mini sides either side of that particular wall that leads up to the workshop, and then eventually there's going to be some doors on there. So it's going to evolve from being a carport to being sort of semi-sided as well. So it's getting there slowly but surely. Who else have we got? Connor K. Greetings, Andy and crew. Like has been clicked. Time for tools and pie. It is Connor. Good job. Welcome aboard, mate. Great to have you back. Jim K. Hello. Good morning, Jim. We've been talking lots during the week, haven't we, Jim? About all sorts of stuff. Customer service, going that extra mile, or in Jim's case, 400 miles. What a bloke. KR Moto finally get to take the GS 1100 out on its first ride. It did very well. Still got a few little kinks to sort out. That's inevitable, to be honest. But other than that, it's pretty well done. We'll be starting on my new build soon. Another project. I know the feeling. I'm sort of getting swamped at the moment. I am. I've got a lot to get done. I've got a surf club ROV to service, another ROV to underseal. Those both need to be finished by Wednesday night, because I have to take those up to Auckland on Thursday. And to facilitate my trip to Auckland on Thursday, I had to get another nasal intrusion done on Friday. Wasn't fun, always. It wasn't quite as bad as the first experience. I wasn't too sure whether it was going to be worse or better, now that I knew what was involved, but it wasn't as bad. And it was the same lady, actually, that was there, the same nurse that did it. So I gave her I said, I did a little commentary on my last live stream about, the whole experience of having my nostril intruded. And I gave her sort of a step-by-step account as I did on the live stream, and she was in fits of hysteria. She thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. So hopefully it made her day. She might have even gone off and gone home and watched the live stream. Who knows? But yes, it was quite a weird experience going up to Auckland. I didn't quite know where the border crossing was. And then there was a sign saying, get your documents ready. So pulled over, got all my documents ready, and then trundled my way up, and the police officer who was there asked me for bits and pieces, and it really felt quite serious. In fact, it was very serious. They do turn a lot of people away for having documents that are invalid for whatever reason, or not having the documents. But within a few minutes, they'd let me through, and off I went. And the same process, on Thursday. It all went pretty well. But you do have to, here in New Zealand, you have to have had a nasal swabby pokey thing, once every 7 days to keep that sort of authority to pass that's been granted live, so to speak. So I had to get it done last Friday because I'm back up next Thursday. And then there's a possibility I'll have to get it done again on Friday next week because I've got to go up to Auckland on the Tuesday. But we don't know yet. The levels are all changing. Jacinda says that it's going to go, Auckland's going to level 2, but there's additional restrictions. So I don't quite know what's involved. I hope I don't, but if I do, I will. Obviously, I have to. Jim K, is there less traffic on the road? There's a lot less traffic on the road, especially the further north you get and closer to that border. It really was almost like a scene out of one of the zombie movies, or Resident Evil. You know, the traffic just dried up. There was just nobody around. It was just me trundling my way along, which made it extremely eerie. And I suppose it added to the adventure. I didn't know whether I was going to get into Auckland or not. I mean, it should have been fine. I thought I had all the documents in place, and as it turned out, I did. So I was happy. But it was a long day. I left home about 8 in the morning, got home at 8 in the evening. So it was a full 12-hour run, especially on the Thursday, because I had to go over to Bethel's Beach to pick up this ROV. And Thursday actually was a really wet day for most of the day. The roads were extremely slippy, so I had to slow right down for that. So I would definitely have been able to knock probably half an hour off the trip if it wasn't quite so wet. Anyway, so let's get on to Simon's parcel. Thank you very much, Simon. I know what's in here. I haven't opened it. We will open it together. Right. Simon says it has no value. I believe this has a lot of value. It's going to save me a lot of time when cleaning up the pins on the calipers, the pad retaining pins on the calipers of the ROVs that I service. I can't tell you the make and model. You know that. Right. No blood yet, which is good. Jeez. It's well wrapped. I'll give you that, Simon. Oh, it's wrapped again. Oh, my God. Hang on. Bear with me. This is a real one, is this? Wait, come back. Oh, no. It's dropped behind the bench. Hang on. Bear with me. Oh, it's in all the sawdust. The workshop is an absolute tip at the moment from doing all the concrete and stuff. Hang on. New practice and new technique. Bloody hell, Simon. I bet customer took one look at this and went, we're not going in there. My word, right. That's the outer one off. We've now got it taped to a piece of cardboard. So incision down there. Bloody hell. This could take me ages. I know why Simon's done this. He's done this to get more airtime on the Andy Mechanic live stream. Isn't that right, sir? Hang on. We're going in. I think we're about there, look. Jeez. One more wrapper. And, oh, look at that. Somebody's been busy on their lathe, haven't they? That's brilliant. So that can be used, obviously, in a normal drill chuck, or I can put it in my lathe. Probably in my lathe, actually. It's nice and easy in there. And it's got some internal female threads in there, look, which will thread onto the male threads of the actual brake pin. So I can pop it in there, spin up the lathe in the correct direction so it doesn't undo, and give them a clean up, and then spin the next one out, and just rattle my way through them really quick with basically it's going to save me a lot of time, and that is going to go in a very special place. It's really nice to get stuff that somebody's actually personally made for you, and that's really cool, Simon. I'm sure we'll see that on some videos in the future. But no, great job, matey. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I'll have to have a think what I can send you now, won't I? Right, we'll pop that down there. So what's next, other than lots of paperwork and stuff that's on here? Where should we start? Well, let's do the more detailed one first, because I need to get some comments from this. Now, you all know that I'm very, very fortunate to have a magic hammer. These are extremely rare. This isn't your standard magic hammer. This one has unicorn blood inside. And in all honesty, it very, very rarely fails because of that. It's extremely good. But it's had a very, 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 very hard life. As you can see, the cow end here has pretty much all dissipated and broken away. This end, the copper end, has done what it's supposed to do, actually, and it's peened over. But it is getting very thin now. There's not much copper between that and the actual cast iron top, which means it's not really doing what it's supposed to do. It doesn't provide as much absorption on impact. And this thing's been used to whack some pretty evil stuff over the years. So I thought I'd give it a bit of a treat. And it is the original handle, by the way. The handle's never been changed. You can see all the slight misses going on there, which is a check the handle. And I thought, well, you know, I knew you could change the ends, but I'd never done it before, and I wasn't too sure. So I Googled it, and I found a document. And that document, in fact, I found it when I was actually looking for the replacement parts. And it says that you've got to drill out and remove all the old bits, just leaving the cast iron centerpiece. So that's easy enough. And then you've got to put it in a press, and with basically a cone type tool that I'll have to make up on the lathe, you then press down, and it's supposed to open up this sort of end flange, and then you can pop. There's the cow bits. There's the new cow bit. Look at that. Nice. That was about $15. It was cheap as chips. And then you press that in, and then you have a concave sort of cone tool that I'll have to make on the lathe. You then press it back on, and then it closes up the end again. That's the official way of doing it, and obviously you repeat the same process at that end. And I'll do the copper end first, and then I'll do the hide end, I think. Probably the most logical way around. So I've never seen it done. I've spoken to a few people. I don't believe anybody's ever done it that I know of. They tend to just go out and buy a new hammer, and I've done with it. But this is a magic hammer. I have to preserve this. I can't just go and buy another one. They're extremely rare. So there'll be a video on this at some point when Andy gets time, and my sincere apologies. Over the last couple of weeks, there haven't been any fresh videos go out. I really have been just way too busy. But there will be a video at some point fitting these, and we'll see how we get on. I don't know how well it's going to work. It should be fine, but I don't know. But if you've done it, Simon, anybody, Jim, let me know, because any tips and tricks would be most appreciated. Now, back to the comments. Dave123. I thought you already did a live stream today and I missed it. No, this is the one. Sorry, Dave. Mike Bazansky. Simon gets a 10 for packaging. Absolutely. There was no way customs were going in there. I'll tell you that now. Keamoto. Is it tiny pie? No, the pie. Here we go. In fact, let's get it slapped in the pie warmer. I was very, very disappointed with Lake Farm's pie last week. It was a real nightmare to eat. I've eaten some other ones that they've produced before that, and they were nothing like that. They were pretty well held together. The meat was really good, blah, blah, blah. That one wasn't. It really wasn't. It was. I think they'd also be quite unhappy that was a reflection on their product. So I dug into the freezer yesterday and I got another one. This is the classic NZ pepper steak. Now I do like pepper steak pies. They're usually sort of my plan B of pie filling if the steak and cheese isn't available. But I do like them. They're very tasty. So let's head over to the pie warmer and get this popped in. I'm going to rip the lid off so I can put the lid underneath. It's a nice box though. They do a great job. Jeez. It's a good box. It's a really good box. Okay, right, so I'm going to turn you around. There's no bikes in the workshop other than Alan's. CB750 still here. So you can see that. That's not a problem. Right, turning you around. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Right, I'll give you a little pan of the workshop this time because you missed out last week. So, bit of a wander first. Oh, these are all the lathe parts. Look under here. All looking pretty clean and tidy. I've still got that lot to strip down, so that's why they're not cleaned yet. And just panning across slowly, Andy. Slowly. YouTube doesn't like it too fast. There you go, look. Very empty workshop because everything's outside. Right. Where's that pie? There he is. Okay. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I do like it. Not too sure about the sealing properties between the lid and the main case. We'll find out. Okay. In fact, where's my tripod? I need my tripod. I've only got 2 hands. There we go. Right. Pie to pie warmer. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. Oh, look at that for a shot. That wasn't planned at all, was it? Right. We'll pop him in there because there's no foil. That'll do, Grobbit. Okay. So, whilst we're wandering around, this is some of the supplies that I picked up last week. There's some more of the old Forge paint in there. Although I think, actually, these are going to get sprayed out of a spray can. Sorry, a spray gun, not a can. So, I can't move these. These are all the bolts. In fact, I can move them. Hang on. Bear with me. Oh, jeez. Okay, there you go. So those that have watched the live streams before and bits and pieces, you'll recognize these straight away. These are straight from the laser cutters. They've had no work done at all. I've got all the final drillings to do. I've got holes to tap M8. I've got to clean them all up, deburr them all, because they're not too bad, these ones, actually. Feeling it. That's not bad at all. So just a quick whiz round with a flat disc. Same again with those pieces there. Look, they all need to be done, drilled. There's nothing to tap in there. They're just drills, drill holes. And coming around, not too fast, Andy, not too fast. I wonder if I can lift it up. It's quite heavy. Yep, down there. Look, they're the outer plates. There's actually a lot of work to do. There's 20. I think there's 26 kits there. So that's going to keep me very, very busy. Right, where were we? Turning around. Oh, yes, sorry. Look, more roll cabs. Those roll cabs, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. They're going to go. Look at the rangum down there. It's just a disgrace. You know, you always have somewhere in your workshop for all the crap. Well, there it is. So there's going to be a roll cab. Is going to fit without the wheels on. So it won't be a roll cab. It'll just be a cab. Drawers. It'll just fit between that bottom shelf and the top bracket. The top box section. Very thick stuff is this. But to make it work, it's such close tolerance. I need to take all these out. These are tech screws that sit proud. I've got to then countersink all this and fit countersink ones to make it all smooth. Because it's actually really annoying when you're pulling stuff in and out anyway, because things get caught on them. Bad design, Andy. Bad design. But yes, it is quite a mess down there, unfortunately. But it'll get better. Right. Back to the live stream. Back to the bench. Let's do things. Let's talk about some more tools. So what else did we get? Well, how's that? Is that going to work? That's good. Oh, Miss October is up in the calendar. So thank you, Jared. No red tape needed on that one. Just. Okay, so what else did we get? Well, let's do this one. I constantly have problems having a good ground on the MIG. And I've tried a few different things. I've tried, I haven't tried the magnetic one yet. But at the moment I had a G-clampy thing that it was annoying because it took so long to get on and off all the time. So I binned that, and that now sits up there somewhere. So I went back to the original springy giant crocodile clip thing, which is okay, but it is losing its tension on the spring a bit, and sometimes you don't get a good ground. So I spotted this when I ordered the roll cabs, and I thought, right, well, we'll try one of these, because this took me back to when I was a kid. I used to have an old stick welder, little Sealy. Was it a Sealy? No, it wasn't. That was the MIG. The old stick welder was from Argos. It was £99, and I saved up for weeks my pocket money to go and buy it. I think I was 12 when I bought it. And I had to, for those that know the stick welders, it wasn't an oil immersed one. It just had a fan in it, but it was still pretty heavy. And I had to carry that from Argos in York. I don't think they're still there. I'm not sure. I had to carry it from Argos all the way to Gilligate on my own. It was bloody heavy. I had to keep stopping and having a rest because I was only 12 years old, for God's sake. And anyway, I made it home and then promptly taught myself how to stick weld. I mean, my granddad was a tool rep, so he got me the electrodes and stuff and gave me a bit of a pointer. But I just started welding bits of metal together until it started to look right. And since then, I've only got better, I think. I haven't used a stick welder for a long time. Once you go on to MIG, you tend not to go back. But we've got this. And on that old stick welder, it had the same thing. It had a really crappy little clamp. So I actually got a pair of mole grips, and I think I welded a nut on there so I can actually fasten the earth wire onto the back of the mole grips, and then use the mole grips to clamp it onto the piece. And it worked really, really well. And I think I replicated that for the Sealy 185 MIG that I had. But for some reason, I'd never got around to doing it for this. I maybe just forgot that it was a good thing to do. And I spotted these and I thought, right, let's give this a go. These are a bit more complicated. There's a bit more going on. You've got the proper little mount here for the cable. And obviously the cable is then direct through this copper pad straight onto the workpiece. So it should be really, really good. And quick, quick release on and off, moving it around on the work. The only downside is it's quite bulky. And it's bulky at this point, whereas your crocodile clips, the big clamp, crocodile spring clamp thing, is quite slim at the point that it makes contact with the workpiece. So there's pros and cons of lots of all the different designs, but I thought, well, I'll give this a go. Let's try it. The trick would be to have, almost like a fly lead, which I could then just, like a male and a female bolt on it that I could just connect to the main cable, and then just change out these really quickly to different styles of clamps based on what I'm working on. But I think it'll work fine. We'll give it a go. I'll give you some feedback, when I do my next big welding job, and let you know how I get on. It might be really annoying, and I'll just clamp it to the roof somewhere and forget all about it. I don't know. Right. Dave123, looks like you dug that thing out of an early Viking burial site. Yes, it's been around a long time. I think I bought this when I was a teenager. I don't remember a time that I didn't have this. So, yeah, it's been with me a long time. It's done a lot of jobs. Simon, some handle, so it's not Trigger's broom. It's same handle, that's right, exactly. It's the same hammer, but it's had 3 handles and 4 heads. Or in Trigger's, Trigger's world, a broom, 6 heads and 3 handles or whatever. It's the same one. I know, but this is original. This is exactly all the components it had when it came out of, well, wherever it came from. Dave123, they don't talk down the lid on that pie. No, they don't. Simon. Oh, hang on. There is blots in that Wrangham you're going to need someday. Bolts. There's a lot of stuff down there, and it's not all throwaway stuff. It's down there for a reason. Obviously, that's why we keep stuff. I've got loads of old ATV engines and motorcycle engines under there, which I was given. There was a guy closing down his motorcycle wreckers here in New Zealand, and he was basically just loading stuff into a skip to weigh it in for scrap metal. And I said to him, well, if you're doing that, why don't I just give you the scrap value for some of the old engines, and I can do some autopsies on them and pull them apart. And he says, hey, that's a great idea. So I took the big trailer and we loaded it up. We got loads of stuff from there. And the intention was to do the videos, and Andy hasn't had time. So of course, all the engines just sit under the bench, and there's a couple over there. They're dotted all over the place. There's even some outside. So I need to have a bit of a tidy up, find a place to put them all. I can't put them in the shed because the shed's full. But one day, really wet, rainy day when I've got nothing else to do, we'll pull one out and we'll do an autopsy. I'd like to do the big, I think it's a Suzuki one down here. I'd like to do that first because it's the biggest one, and then that way it clears up some more space. But yes, you're right, Simon. I'm a bit of a hoarder. Don't like to throw things away. So magic hammer done. Simon's really cool little piece. I do like the thread you've put in there. What thread is it, Simon? Is it, obviously it's probably a fine metric. Is it a 12? 12 M12 fine metric? I don't know. You have to tell me. I don't have one of those taps, by the way. Now, what's next? Well, let's do this bit next. So, whilst I was filling my shopping basket, these are all from ISL Industrial, by the way. They're starting to get a lot more into welding. And they do sell a really posh, really smart welding bench, you know, the ones that are full of holes and they've got all the clamps that clip in. I really would love one of those. It'd be really cool. And my intention was to get one for doing Jared's go-karts, you know, for redoing the frame, but it's not going to happen. Way too much money at the moment. I'm spending the money on carports and fencing and tractors and other stuff. So, you know, it'll wait till next year, I'm sure. And they have got an ex-demo one, which I keep pushing to try and get cheaper and cheaper. And Brandon's doing me a great price on it, but it's still just too much for me to commit at the moment. Anyway, so one of the things that they do, they've got a range of these things. They've got these really cool magnetic bases to them, and they're all adjustable. At the joints, you can make it longer and shorter. You can change the angle on the pivots just by an Allen key. And it's basically there to hold workpieces in position as you tack them up. And it's something that I've always come up with, you know, weird ways of doing stuff, but to have something like this is going to be really helpful in the workshop. So I thought, right, it wasn't expensive, we'll have one of those. And there was also a kit of little ones as well. And you'll probably see these advertised on Facebook and stuff. I'm sure they come out of China, and they're getting more and more popular, but they are very useful. And if you don't use them and you just like the look of them, then they'll make fantastic fridge magnets. Really strong. Things are not going to fall off your fridge when you slam the door after getting your ninth beer for the night. You know, we have lots of fridge magnets on our fridge door, and some of them are, well, the magnets are not great, and they do fall off now and again, and sometimes they break, which is not good. But no, I've got a few of these, and only one of these, but you know, we'll give them a go. And again, you'll see them in videos, and I'll give you some, I'll give you some feedback as to how I get on with them, really. But I think they'll be great. I think they're a really good idea. Simple, effective, and not expensive either. Has anybody else got that kind of stuff? Tell me how you get on. Do you find them good or a bit of a pain to use? I don't know. Right. So, Simon's back. Oh, M10. Yes, fine metric M10. It's an odd size. Right. I got the tap to retap the banjo holes on the Tokiko caliper, rear calipers. Tokiko, is that a brand of caliper? I've not seen that before. Tokiko? Okay. M10 by 1. Good to know. Thank you, Simon. Oh, my coffee's going cold. It's not good. So, what else have I done this last week? Oh, there's some more stuff to go through, by the way. Well, Wednesday, like I said, was really just unloading. Well, I did some admin work first to let the sun come out. Unloaded the trailer, reloaded the trailer, unloaded the truck, and obviously I had all the steel work in the back of the truck, so that was fun carrying all that into the workshop. I'll tell you that. Took a few trips. Monday was just solid admin work, to be honest. I had a lot of stuff to catch up with, so it was a full day in the office, at home office. And then Friday, I worked out of the workshop, and I think I had 2 online meetings on Friday as well. Or was that Wednesday? No, that was Wednesday. So Wednesday was unload the truck, unload the trailer, reload it all up, ready to go, in between doing online meetings, which was fun as always. I think I told you last Sunday I've got the go-ahead to make the first batch of those support plates for the ATV footwell. I've got 50 kits to do, which we thought was a pretty fair first hit. That's 100 plates, by the way, because each kit has 2 of the main plates and all the associated bracketry. Where are we at with that now? The laser cut in place, I sent them my CAD drawings, which they thought was quite fun. They had a good chuckle at that. He says, oh, these are pretty good drawings for on a piece of cardboard, mate. I says, well, thanks. Cardboard's free, and I quite like drawing on it, actually. It doesn't, you know, it stays in place, doesn't it? So they've drawn it all up. They sent me through the draft drawings for checking. They'd made 3 mistakes, which wasn't their fault. So they modified them, got them all sorted out. I've approved them, and we're now waiting for the test fit pieces to be cut There's some minor folds, 3.31 degrees, pretty accurate. They can do the folding as well, which I wasn't aware of, so I've said that's fine. Please do the folding, because for me to do it here, I haven't got a proper folder, and they're quite thick pieces and very small pieces, so they need to be clamped incredibly well to get the fold. So I thought, right, okay, just do the folding. That takes a big job away from me, and of course time is precious. Yes, it costs a bit more, but I'd have had to buy some kind of a folder, and that will probably cost more anyway, and I just don't have the time, to be honest. So they're on with that. Oh, Dave123, off topic, but I've recommended your CB750 timing video to a bunch of newbie wrenchers. It's the best static timing video I've seen. Very helpful. Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate the feedback, and it's great to know that you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful. I was under a bit of pressure with that one, because I know there's a lot of CB750 and old classic Honda viewers around. There's been quite a few videos done on that particular subject. Some are really good content-wise, some are really good camera work-wise, but I couldn't really find one that had both. So that was my brief. I had to do a good job content-wise, but also film it in a way where you could really see what was going on. It really bugs me when you're watching a video and you can't, the camera's not really showing you what you really need to see. You can just hear the guy talking about it. You need to see stuff. And I do take a bit of time trying to set the camera up so you get the image that you need to see. But no, it's really cool. Thank you very much, Dave. And those videos have done very well, I must admit. And I do like doing that kind of stuff. A bit more technical, a bit more involved. Takes a lot longer to film, but in the end, it's a lot more useful to people. Although saying that, changing the heads on the Magic Hammer, that's going to be popular. So, but the problem is, I'm going to have to make up some bits and pieces to be able to change those heads across. And how many people can be bothered to do that, really? They'll just go out and spend a few more dollars. I think the difference between a complete hammer, a completely new hammer was about $80, and the piece of cow was about $15 something. This is New Zealand, by the way. $15 something. The piece of copper was about 25. So that's $40. So for twice the price, you get a brand new hammer, which I suppose some people will go for. I mean, then they've still got their old hammer to whack stuff, that they're not too bothered about the hammer anymore. But this isn't a normal hammer. This is a very unique magic hammer, And I've got to find some more unicorn blood as well, because I need to refresh that. I think it's starting to wane a little bit. I mean, it must be at least 30 years old, that hammer. 35 years old. I don't know. It's really old. Really old. So, and I've never topped it up. So I need to put some more in there. So if you know where I can get some, let me know. Oh, where are we now? Brendan Lee, Grant Mills. How are you and Mrs. Mechanic this week? We're really good, actually. We had a good day's concreting yesterday. Good teamwork. I spent pretty much probably 4 to 5 hours non-stop mixing concrete. And she spent about 5 hours non-stop spreading it all out and flattening it all down. We had to change our plan a little bit and move one of the shuttering boards near the end, because we knew we were going to run out of concrete, which was fine. It wasn't the end of the world, and it's turned out brilliantly. She's done a great job. Very, very pleased. That means that all the concreting now under the carport is finished, which is a relief, because Ben, my eldest lad, my only lad, he's got to move house, and it's very difficult in Auckland at the moment, with it being in lockdown, to do that kind of stuff. And he was stressing out quite a bit, poor lad. And I'd love to be there to help him, but I just can't. I'm not allowed. So I said to him, look, why not? He's got a lot of pallets. So I said, why not make some of those pallets into box pallets, and chuck all your gear in those, make a lid, screw it all down, and then we'll just put them on the trailer and I'll bring them down here. So he's going to load them onto the trailer, fill them up, screw the lids on, and then I'm going to collect the trailer next week. He's going to drop it off at work, and well, near work, and I'll pick it up. and bring it down here and unload it and store all his stuff for him. But very sad that he's got to basically strip out all his workshop and put it into boxes. Yeah, I feel for him, I really do. And I want to help as much as I can. And if they go to level 2 next week, then maybe I can do a bit more for him. Pete Garnis, when the next episode of the Lathe rebuild coming out? Pete, I was supposed to have filmed that over 10 days ago, and I just haven't had the time. As soon as my travel documents came through allowing me to go into Auckland, everything changed. I had to really get back to getting my work done. Logistics wise, I had a lot of stuff to move around, over 1,000 kilometers with a big trailer to drive, a lot of collections, a lot of deliveries. And now, because I've now got the stuff that I need and I've been waiting for it for over 6 weeks, I've really got to crack on, and the pressure's on because I'm also going down to the South Island a week on Tuesday, and a lot of that stuff really needs to be done before then. Whether it will be or not, I just don't know. Things are looking pretty tight. But we'll see how things pan out, to be honest. I'll just do my best. That's all I can do. As regards that video, I really would like to get it done before I go to the South Island. Then I can edit it up while I'm away, and it'll give you guys something to watch, and it'll also finish off the strip down of that lathe, because I've still got the apron to do and still got the end stock to strip. And I might find that I need more parts, which means I can order those before I go away, and they should be here when I get back, which will keep the ball rolling. So yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment. So my apologies, Pete. I'm doing the best I can, mate. I'm sorry. Mike Byzanski, hammer ends need saved and put in the display case. Good call. They do. Very good call. That will happen. The display case is doing really well at the moment. Although, sadly, the Tonka truck doesn't fit in. Oh, it does, but it has to be on its side to fit in properly. Sad. Yes. Can I modify it to fit in? It's only about 4mm difference to shut the door. So maybe I can do something about that. I don't know. I'll have a think. Dave, 123. Not a lot of unicorns around these days. There isn't. They keep getting hunted down. Probably for magic hammers. I might know a guy who can get his hands on some Pegasus blood. I've not tried that before. Similar magical properties. Not cheap though. Hey, anything that's good these days isn't cheap, but it's definitely worth it. We could give that a go. Yes, email me the details. Simon, you'll get some unicorn's blood from Ireland. Good call. At the end of a rainbow next to the leprechauns. Oh, mate, you make me laugh. So, talking about the lathe, as you well know, everything I have here is metric. I do have some AF spanners kicking around, but they're in one of the storage sheds, and they are buried right at the back. I know where they are. They're in an ammo box, together with a lot of other tools, which I really want to get into the workshop. Right at the back of the shed, completely buried. And the shed, you open the doors, and it's just full to the roof all the way through. It's just a storage shed. Everything's buried in there. It's all stacked really well in pallet boxes, most of it. But I can't get to it. It's just impossible at the moment. So I thought, well, I'm going to be giving this lathe to Ben. That's the plan. He doesn't know yet. It's still a secret. And when it's finished, he'll get it. When it's finished. So I thought, while I was filling my shopping cart up, I thought, right. I think this was the original reason why I went on there, actually. I ordered some AF stuff. So I got a new set. I do have a few kicking around, but it was missing a couple. I got a new set of AF Allen keys. So all of these tools I'll give to Ben with the lathe, so he's got what he needs, because he hasn't got any AF stuff at all. So we got those, and we also got, if I can open the box up, look at these, shiny. Hopefully they won't fall out. Oh, pie's ready. Got some AF combi spanners, look at that. And they go from size 5/16 to 3/4. And there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 in there, a range of 8. So I think that should do the vast majority of what's on that lathe, hopefully. At least in the video I can be using the right tools. And lastly, because I couldn't help myself, I also got, wait for it, I got a set of AF sockets. There, look at that. And these, I think this, yes, are they all 3/8? Yeah, they're all 3/8. There's deep ones. Oh no, there's quarter drive as well. Look, little quarters in there. So again, great little set, and should be very useful. I'm sure Ben will treasure those for the rest of his life as well with the lathe. Weren't particularly expensive, so I thought, well, bite the bullet, let's have those, and then we've got exactly what we need to do the job properly, rather than making things to fit. And I don't like using monkey wrenches, adjustable spanners. They're not something I'm a real fan of. They're more of an emergency thing than anything else. But now we've got those, we can do it properly, can't we? Good job. Thanks, Brandon. So, pie. It's gone ping, hasn't it? We should do a pie thing. Although I have run out of coffee. Mrs. Mechanic, if you're watching, I need another coffee. Oh, that was stone cold. Right. Let's go and recover the pie. 3, 2, 1. Dum, 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 dum. Not too fast, Andy. I've realised if I go too fast, YouTube dumbs down the definition at my end. Not the transmission definition, but the reception definition on the screen. Okay, we're going in. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that was rather hot. Don't drop the pie, Andy. Don't drop the pie. Oh, look at that. Nice golden brown. Ooh, it's looking a bit dodgy, is that ceiling there, look. Right. Oh. Put that back in. There we go. Right. Back to the bench. Look, you see the tonker doesn't fit in. Has to go on his side. So he's getting an under chassis inspection done at the moment. Right. Dum, dum. Yes, I know, it's a tip. But we all have that kind of toolbox, don't we? Okay. Right, back to the bench. Well, look at that for photography. Pretty cool. Accuracy or what? Okay. Oh, while you're on, whilst we're pointing this way, Philips, New Zealand. I'm looking for some work lamps, or some lighting to go under the carport, and I wanted to get the flicker-free stuff. So I got one on a trial, which was a wider one to this, and sure enough, it failed big time. It had about 10 volts differential on the secondary, so the LEDs were flickering like buggery. So I emailed Philips New Zealand, and they said, oh, that's not good. Thanks for all the detailed analysis. They really enjoyed the picoscope files and stuff. They said, oh, we reckon this one should be okay. So they sent me this one just to test, basically. I think it's 5 foot long. Is it 5 foot? Yeah, it's about 5 foot long. That's there we are, look. There's the thingamajig. And I haven't put it on the scope yet. I just basically wired it up, filmed it, and sure enough, it doesn't work at all. It's as bad as the first one. So again, it's got a driver in there, which is not really flicker-free. So if you're looking for flicker-free lighting, that isn't one, unfortunately. But work in progress. I'll let you know what I find when I do find the ones that I need. There you go. Another little update. Lots going on at the moment. And it's quite a big investment. I think I need, for under the carport, I need 10 of those. And they're not that cheap. That obviously has to go back. I've not paid for it. They just lent me it to test it. So I'll drop that back off. I want to do a final picoscope check on it, just to get an actual voltage reading so we can compare it properly to the other one. But yeah, it was surprising. And they actually got an engineer, top bloke actually, electronics engineer type chap from Philips, emailed me this massive long email. And I'm very tempted to do a video on it, actually. I know they're not particularly popular videos, but finding LED lighting that doesn't flicker on camera is it seems to be extremely difficult here in New Zealand. And I think it's really important that people understand what causes the flickering. It's the driver, not the LEDs, as you all know. But I think it'd be good to cover it because the content of his email is extremely detailed and goes into many, many aspects of light design. And I can just basically paste that into the description of the video so people can read it. And those that really thoroughly understand it know what's going on. Some of it was way above me, in all honesty. The simple test is, if you're looking to buy a light, just basically crack open your mobile phone, get the light fired up and film it. And if it flickers on the camera, then you know it's not going to work. Because he was telling me I should be using all sorts of different kinds of cameras and stuff, and that's not going to happen. I just, you know, most YouTubers just use a mobile phone or a cheap digital camera. They don't have those kind of settings to try and compensate for the flickering of the light. And nor should you have to. The lights do exist. I got some panel lighting, which was absolutely perfect. And it may well be that I can source some drivers from that same company to run whatever lights that I choose. And maybe Philips will do me a deal on the lights, knowing that they know that I have to replace the drivers in them. But it's a lot of work. Right, the pie. We do digress, don't we? Okay, so here we go. Be very, very careful with this. So it looks very appetizing. And I suppose if it was on a plate, the fact that the lid's popped up isn't a bad thing. But if you were driving, that to me is a sign of a pending disaster. Okay. Catastrophe. Oh, we've got a crack. Look at that. We've also got a thermally induced crack, I believe, due to expansion of the contents. Underside looks perfectly done. No, oh, there's a little crack there, look. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Okay, so this is a Lake Farms, there's the box. A Lake Farms pie. They're only available to order through the internet. You can't buy them off the shelf, and you've got to buy 8 at a time, which is not the end of the world because pies are good, and buying 8 can only be better than buying 1. So here we go. Pepper steak. Right, I'm just going to give that lid a little bit. Oh yes, we've got some give in the lid. Okay, look at that. To camera, Andy. All right, so I'm going to start. We're going in. Man, they are tasty. There's no doubt. Look at that. See the steam coming off. So what we failed on what the previous Lake Farms pie struggled with was basically, what do we call it? The structure. So the fully partness, it really became an absolute handful to try and eat it. And we were getting bits of pie all over the bench and all of my fingers, and it just turned into a real mess. And I actually felt quite embarrassed eating that pie to camera live on YouTube because it made me look like a bit of an animal, to be honest, someone that couldn't eat a pie properly. So we're going to give them a second chance. Last week's was a steak and cheese. This is the pepper steak. So far, so good. Look at that. You couldn't really ask for much of a better pie, could you? However, a quick spin round again. We've got the crack on the side. It does seem to have got slightly larger. That could be a problem. Still, there wasn't any particularly large lumps of meat in the last one either, in the steak and cheese. Here we've got some pretty good chunks of meat coming out. So that's looking good. Right, we'll have one more bite. Huge chunk of meat. Really good. Now, I haven't spoken to Lake Farms since last Sunday. They may or may not have watched the live stream and the review of their previous pie, the steak and cheese. I don't know. If they have, they certainly haven't emailed me to let me know or to discuss the points. So maybe they're unaware. Who knows? Doesn't really matter too much. Right, we're going in again. Oh, another big chunk of meat. And the pepperiness isn't really strong. It's nice. Doesn't burn your mouth. Where are we at to? Bruce Cleaver. He's got a little pump bottle thing going on, but I can't read what it is. What is it, Bruce? Mike Bazanski, how are the solar lights working out? They are brilliant. They're really, really useful. I put them up, haven't touched them since, and they just work. They as soon as you walk past, they come on. Now they're not super bright, even though they look really bright to camera here in the workshop. They're not super bright, but they do give you enough light to see what you're doing. So I can bring the bikes in, you know, not fall over stuff. I can see them quite clearly. There's two of them outside. They're at different angles, and I couldn't ask for them to be any better, to be honest. Sure, brighter would be better, but they serve the purpose that they were intended for. And they just use the power of the sun, which is even better. No, a bit of a burp. That's not good. Yeah, they're great. Probably a bit too early in the day for you know, corrosion setting in, but we'll keep them up there. They're going to stay up until they fail, and then when one of them fails, we'll pull it down, pull it apart, and see if there's any corrosion, or if it's failed because of corrosion. You know, right? Where should we go next? I think we should have that corner there. Look. Nearly. Oh. That's a nice pie. I like it. Okay, so let's get the pen. See if we can get the lid off. Yes, there we are. Right. So taste stroke flavor contents. It does taste really good. We have got a bit of a problem at the back end. Look at that now. That really is starting to break up. So I'm going to try and work my way around here before it finally fails. Something you might not notice when driving, though. That's the problem. Another big chunk of meat. That's great. A bit of a collapse on this side going on. So it's starting to become a bit of a management issue here. I'm having to really concentrate on what's going on. But as regards taste stroke flavor, it really is good. Really, it's nice chunky bits of meat. Not too much gravy. It's not flowing all over the place like the last pie. I'm going to give that a 9. I like that. Now, structure Foley partners. It's a bit early yet. I'm going to leave that one because it was at this stage on the last pie that really things started to really go awry. And this has got the potential of exactly the same thing happening. So we'll leave that one for now. Runnability. Okay, I'm just going to open up the pie a little bit. There we go, look. And we'll do the runnability tests. I'm just going to pull the lid back a little bit. And 45 degrees. There we go. Is it going to run out? It isn't. The last one did. That's all right, is that? That's hanging in there. Very good. Okay, runnability. Pretty good. I'm going to give it an 8 for that. Meat quality. Well, we've already had 3 or 4 really big chunks of meat, which is what I expected from Lake Farm pies, because they supply their own meat. It's a cattle farm, so you know it's all about the meat. They're not just pie producers. They actually rear the cattle for the pies. So I'm going to give them a 9 for the meat quality. I really think you can't get much better than that. Pie to crust ratio. Well, it is quite thin as the old crust. Oh. It's a bit floppy in places. There's a lot of filling. There's a hell of a lot of filling, and I can see why it's a bit of a problem trying to keep it all in place when you've only got a thin crust. But there is a lot of filling, so they're going to score really highly on that. Could you have any more of a filling in this size pie? I think it'd be difficult, to be honest. Again, I'm going to give them a 9 for that. A 9? Or do we give them a 10? What do you think? I think a 10. Let's give them a 10. What the hell? Okay. Now, availability logistics. I didn't look at the last live stream to get these scores, but you can only get them through their website. There is a 3 to 4 week wait time, And when they arrive, you've got to obviously warm them up again. So it's not the kind of pie that's going to satisfy immediate hunger at all. And chances are, because they're being delivered to your house, you're not going to eat it while you're driving anyway. You're going to eat it on a plate for your tea or something, or in the workshop in your hands, but you're not going to be driving. So availability only on the website, but they'll deliver to anywhere in New Zealand, but you have to wait 3 to 4 weeks. I think of 5. I really think of 5. I don't think any more than that, to be honest. If any of you remember what the score was that I gave the steak and cheese last Sunday on logistics, and it's not 5, let me know, and I'll change it, because it's going to be exactly the same. And we need to be fair about this. Now, pastry taste rating. Okay, I'm going to try and get a piece of. Oh, if I take that off there, it's going to leak. So I don't know. I'm going to have to. Oh, here we are. I'll take this piece. Right, I've eaten the meat off it. We pretty much just got pastry here. Very peppery. That's nice. It's not gooey. There's no nasty aftertaste to it. It tastes really what pastry should taste like. So we'll give them an 8 for that. Good pastry. Is it tasty when cold? I don't know. It's not cold yet, so we'll wait for that one. Packaging design. Again, I can't remember what I gave them last time. Exactly the same packaging. I'm only human. I do like what they've done. I think it's very classic. I think it's good, strong cardboard as well. You know, they've put some effort into this. I think. Oh, and there was a drawing on the top, wasn't there? That's right. So they gave us a nice. Look at that. They gave us a nice drawing on the top of the pie you're going to get. It's not quite the same. Hasn't got that bit of pastry on top there. Look, but somebody spent some time drawing that, and they're all different pictures depending on the pie that you've got in the box. So, geez. Okay, packaging design. Simple, classic. There's no grease-proof element to it, which is fine. It means it's easily recyclable. So, I think an 8. I like it. I like it a lot. I think an 8. Recyclable score. Well, I remember now that they don't put on here that it is recyclable, but it is just cardboard, and cardboard is recyclable, and it is recyclable cardboard. There's no problem with that. So I think they should get a 10 for that. Or did we knock them? I think we knocked one off, didn't we? We'll give them a 9. I think we knocked one off because they didn't tell you it was recyclable. Right, so better crack on. Plenty of pepper. I wouldn't want any more pepper in it than this. I'm not a real fan of pepper, other than in pepper steak pies, to be fair. Massive chunk of meat. Huge. That's a proper piece of cow, that is. That's what I expected last week. That was really good. Got a bit of a dribble. Definitely a two-handed pie, and definitely one you couldn't eat whilst driving. Oh, pie server attractiveness. I think we gave the post lady a 5, so we can fill that bit out. Okay, what have we got left? Structure fall apartness. Well, I wouldn't say it's quite as bad, but I'm going to reserve myself until I get the whole thing eaten, to be fair. That was a lot of gravy. Holy moly. You see, if you were eating this whilst you were driving, that bit is going to end up on your lap. It really is. There's no way that's going to stay there. little bit of fat. It wasn't gristle, but it was a bit fatty. Oh, it's fat. Massive piece of meat. That was huge. Probably the biggest piece of meat I've ever had in a pie. Dave123, how much does Alan owe you for the work you've done this CB750? You've put in some hours on that bike. Put in a lot of hours, a lot more than I originally planned to put in, but Alan doesn't owe me anything. It was a collaboration. I'm more than happy to work on the bike for him. I hope at the end of it, we've solved all the problems that you had with it. But there is no invoice, there's no charge. I'm doing it for the love of working on the bike and making the videos for you guys. It's not a retail job. It doesn't bring any money in. Well, I'm pleased to say so far, we've managed to mitigate any major failings of the pie of contents falling out. So slightly better than last week. Whether that's because my skill set's improved from last week or whether the pie is better, I'll let you decide. Another big chunk of meat. This is great. If they could just make the pastry a bit more containing. It seems to crack pretty easily and then allow the contents to escape quite quickly. Wow. One more bit to go. That was so much better than last week. Big improvement. Good job, Lake Farm. So, structure Foley partners. It wasn't great. We all saw lots of cracks developing. Even out of the box, there were cracks there waiting to open up and spill your gorgeous steak all over the place and your gravy and stuff. So we can't give them full marks on that. That would be completely wrong. Structure Foley partners. I think from memory, we gave them a 3 on the steak and cheese. I think that one's a 6. That's my gut feeling. You tell me if I'm wrong, but I think a 6 works out pretty well with that. It wasn't horrendous, but it could have been a lot better. Still tasty when cold. I'll be honest, it was still warm as I had the last piece. But, pardon me, it still tasted really good. And I believe it is a pie that you could eat when it's cold. I'm going to give them a 7 for that, I think. A 7. I don't think it'd be brilliant cold. I think it definitely tastes better when it's hot, especially with a peppery element to it. Post pie heartburn. Well, it has started to repeat a little bit on me. Like I said, I'm not a great fan of pepper, but I like it in the pepper steak pie, obviously. Whether it's pepper that makes it repeat on you, I don't know. Maybe it does. Post pie heartburn. A couple of burps already. What should we give them? 7? Let's give them a 7 for now. If we have another burp, repeat, then it'll drop. Stuffability score. I'm stuffed. I don't want another pie. I'm not craving for any more food at this point in time. I'm not completely bloated. You know, I could eat more, but my hunger is satisfied, and that's what it's all about. 9. Get it out of my beard. Do you think 9's too much? Maybe an 8? It was a good sized pie, and there was a lot of filling, and there was some really good pieces of meat in there. So no, I'm going to give it a 9. Now, meat quality. Yes, we gave them a 9 for that. I think we're there. I think we've done them all. Just check. Right. Time to total it up. Here we go. Turning you around. You can help me on this. Okay. Coming down. Dum, 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 dum. Okay. It's like being at Unitec again, scoring the students. 15, 23, 32, 42, 47, 55, 62, that was a burp, 62, 70, 79, 86, mental block there, 86, 95, 100. Okay, so they got a straight 100, but we had another burp. So, where is it? Post heartburn, that's going to be a 6, because we had another burp, so that's 99. Slightly better, only slightly better than the last one. Wow, is my arithmetic right? Let me know if it's not. Okay. Lake Farm. It's a lot to write. I'll just put pepper steak. And I'm going to go with a 99. Okay. Let's see where that ranks against all the other pies that we've tested so far. Okay. Here we go. Dum 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 19. Oh, it's doing pretty well. I'll stick it up there with SMA for a minute. Okay, so we need to get. Oh, I've got all these to move down. Okay, so Big Ben, they only got 64. Let's put him down, make some more room, because there'll be lots more pies coming up. Makatu 75. Jesters 83. There's a lot of 80s, isn't there? Oxford Pies only got 88. I Love Pies, Angus Steak and Ale, 89. Dad's Pie, equal at 89. Irvine Steak and Cheese, 93. Esquires, 96. Lake Farm Steak and Cheshire Cheese, 96. Wild Bean Cafe, 97. Mackenzie Steak and Cheese, 99. Right. Lake Farm Pepper Steak goes in at 99. Pretty much on a par to the Mackenzie Steak and Cheese. But for very different reasons, I think. Look at that. Right. So, still didn't pip the post with Baker's Son Steak and Cheese. And Wild Bean Cafe Gourmet Steak and Cheese, still 103. I'm looking forward to going to Toad Hall in the South Island. I'm pretty confident it's going to score better than that. But we'll have to find out on the day, won't we? Good job. There's a few pies on there now. Look, I think I've eaten all those pies. I've eaten a lot more pies than that. A lot more pies. Jeez. Right, back to the bench. Dum, 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 dum. That was a turnaround transition whilst in motion. Pretty good. We're getting better here in the workshop at filming, aren't we? Not really. 99. Nearly got 100. Nearly made 100. I hadn't just repeated on me once more. That he got 100. How's that? You good? Right, we've had the pie. Now it's time for another cigarette. What are we on? An hour and 14. We're going to call it a day. Ooh, that was another one. Definitely a justified reduction of a point there. Oh, I'm not going to light it with that, am I? Now, where do we get to? Oh, golly. Dave, 1, 2, 3. Hands down, the best live stream meat pie reviews on YouTube. Cheers, mate. I haven't seen I haven't seen any others, but there's no way they're better than Andy's. Cheers, Dave. That was like you built me up and then you pulled me back down again. That was a good comment. I like that. Thanks, Dave. Mike Bazansky received a super pinion sprocket from Europe for that bad output shaft, specially designed for the worn spline problem. Fitting it up tomorrow. Still need a new shaft for the long-term fix. But at least it keeps you on the road. I didn't know you could get those. That's really cool. Good job, Mike. Keeping those wheels turning. But yes, it's going to be a big rebuild, isn't it? And once you get in there, you'll go, oh, I'll just do this while I'm in. And I'll just do that while I'm in. And you'll end up spending lots more money. But at the end of it, it'll be a really good little engine again. Simon, Mike Bazansky, is that the type of one that uses grub screws to hold the sprocket to the shaft? Yeah, Honda did that a lot, didn't they? They have like a little collar you put on and turn a few degrees and the holes line up and you put the grub screws in. And they do tend to work quite loose on the shafts. Same as the Honda C50. That has the same setup. And I'm sure the Postie bike could be like that. Mike Bazansky, no, extra wide to use all of the splines and a different built-in holder vise. The one Honda uses, no screw to the shaft. Interesting. Jim K, that's a lot of pies. Jim, if I listed every pie that I've eaten here in New Zealand, we'd need a much bigger cabinet. Hundreds. I guarantee it now. There's definitely been hundreds of pies. And there's a lot more to go. I do like a pie in the morning. I've sort of got into that routine now over the last couple of years. I've been out on the road. Pie time. Quick, easy, satisfying. I'd much rather have a pie than have a sit-down breakfast of bacon and eggs and that kind of stuff. I like that kind of breakfast, the traditional English breakfast, without the black pudding. But afterwards, I feel so stuffed and lethargic that I just don't want to do any work. It's a bad, especially if I'm doing physical work, it's a bad thing to have. But a pie, it just seems to be the right kind of amount to not impede productivity too much. John, if you put the unicorn clamp of the CB750 under your press, you can then collect the blood. Good call. If not, then see Ron Weasley. His mate, Harry Potter, has some. Very good. Yes, we could do that. You see all these really helpful hints and tips here. Mrs. Mechanic, by the way, is a great fan of Harry Potter, as are all my kids. I remember taking them when they were really young to see the very first one at the movies. And ever since then, they've read all the books and watched all the movies numerous times. Yes. Oh, by the way, the digger, the Kubota tractor that we bought, has a name. It's now known as Trevor the tractor. We used to have a loading shovel in the UK, and we called that Scoop. Scoop was brilliant. Scoop was a little Kramer Allrad 312 SE, and it would lift tremendous weights. We could lift a whole four-wheel drive off the ground with it. It was brilliant. Now, obviously, tractor front loaders are not built to the same kind of specs as loading shovels. The little Kubota does okay. It would be nice if it lifted more, but it doesn't. Whether we can modify it and increase the pump output and increase the lifting ability, because it's got enough ballast at the back, having the backhoe on it, to do that. But whether the rams are good enough, there are only quite small rams on there, so it might overload and break something, I don't know. But it's still really useful. We used it yesterday to bring down the builder's mix down to the cement mixer, and I was shoveling it out of the bucket. So, good piece of kit. I do like it. And it's an ideal size for the property. Anything bigger would just be way too big. So, where are we at? I think I've drunk all my cold coffee. Mrs. Mechanic obviously isn't watching the live stream. It's all gone now. There's no more coffee. So, next week. What's going to happen next week? Well, I'm at home, obviously today. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm at home, not going anywhere. I've got lots and lots to do in the workshop. I've got meetings on Wednesday again, so that's going to dilute Wednesday. And so, yeah, I've got an ROV to strip, do a full service and some repairs. One of the rack ends has got bent, the right-hand rack end. They must have hit something pretty hard to bend that. Luckily, I do have a new one in stock, which is pure luck, to be honest. I've got one of those, so I can repair that. It's going to require all the calipers to be stripped down and rebuilt again. I don't have any spare brake pads. I've run out of brake pads, but I have got lots of really good second-hand ones. So maybe it's going to have to just have some good second-hand ones put in. Obviously, I won't charge them for those because they've probably come off another Surf Club ROV in the past, so they already belong to them anyway. So fingers crossed, I'll have everything I need. Oh, and the gear lever's really stiff as well, so that needs a lot of lubing to get it freed off. It's really, really stiff. I've had that problem once before, and you've just got to keep just drowning it in lube and working it till it frees off again. Bit of a pain. Dave wanted to know, how many little mechanic kids are there? There's 3, and they're not little anymore. Benjamin, he lives up in Auckland. He's 26, I think. Charlotte, she lives over in Canada, Nova Scotia. And then there's little Ellie. And Ellie's about to move down to Queenstown in about 10 days' time. Hence my trip to the South Island. And they're all very self-contained. They just do their own thing, and they're all doing really well, and I'm very happy for them. But I must admit, the old COVID thing has caused them all a lot of stress. Ben the most stress, without a doubt. He really is mentally suffering from all mainly the physical restrictions of movement. He struggles. He does a lot of stuff. He's still working in Auckland, even in lockdown level 4. He was still working because the bicycle industry was classed as an essential service. And I think just being around people and having to follow the procedures for safety reasons, obviously, he found that difficult as well. He had a lot more to think about, and it does stress him out, poor lad. Hopefully, and he's had his vaccinations done, and I've got one more. I've got my second one to do probably next week before I go away. Get that out of the way. Although they have given me a date. That's right, they gave me a date, but unfortunately the date falls whilst I'm away, so it's probably going to be when I get back. We'll have to push the date back a little bit, and I'll have that done when I get back. Roger Heaps, lift rams have 2 different holes to attach. Okay, so I'm not that au fait with tractor hydraulics. I mean, I did a bit of work on the Unimog that had a lot of hydraulics on it, plumbed up a hydraulic winch. I did some work on the loading shovel as well, but not really got my head around the tractor. And of course, it's brand new, don't want to play with it too much. Well, I like playing with it, but not modifying it. So I'll be speaking to the tractor supply people, Central Motors. I've already broached the issue with him. It should lift 350 kgs. That's the rated lift on the front bucket, with the bucket in place, as long as you're lifting from the bucket pins position. I came to lift that king quad when we were washing it off, and it struggled to lift it, but the bike was full of mud, and I thought, well, it should lift a quad bike off the ground, surely. I was a bit disappointed by that. But then I looked up the weight of the king quad, which is 315 kgs, dry. Well, that plus all the mud would have easily been 350, if not more. So maybe that's why it struggled. It did lift it, but only just. Took a few attempts. I'd like it to lift half a ton, but maybe that's asking too much. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. Obviously, the backhoe's got a much higher lifting capacity, so I'm told. But I suppose I could have lifted the quad bike with the backhoe, maybe. What's that one? Simon. Come on. There we are. What's the difference between a JCB, here we go, and a giraffe? I don't know, Simon. What's the difference between a JCB and a giraffe? Simon says, one has hydraulics and the other one has high bollocks. Very good, Simon. Very, very good. As I was reading it, I guessed what the second part was going to be, but well done. Maybe chuckle. Yes, you're right. Good old JCBs. I do like JCBs. I remember when the fast tracks first came out and they were zooming up and down the roads with massive trailers on the back at high speed. It sort of transformed the way that farmers moved their stuff around, especially sugar beet and cattle. When they started to lead their own cattle in big cattle trailers behind their tractors rather than using haulage companies. and the haulage companies were really upset by it. Cut down on their sales, I'm sure. Anyway, I think we're about there. Any more jokes? What was that one? I saw another one from Roger come up. There we are. Roger Heaps. Some have high lift holes, and others set for heavy. And another set for heavy. Ah, high lift, as in off the ground, height, and the other one more for doing actually lifting weight. Good call. I think the lifting the weight one's more important to me. So I'll have a chat with them. Thank you for that, Roger. Appreciate it. I will check it out. Maybe because it's not a full-size tractor, it doesn't have that facility. I don't know yet, because it is only a little one. And I can't expect it to lift the same kind of weights as the loading shovel. That would lift. We put a high output pump in it because the pump failed, and I could lift a long wheelbase Nissan Patrol off the ground, and that's 2 ton. It was doing well, and that was with the bucket in place, and a boom off the bucket, a big bit of RSJ that we had kicking around that I modified. So that thing would lift. It would really, really lift. It had a massive central ram to it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I think we're about there, gentlemen. We're coming up to the end of the live stream, but thank you very much for joining. We've covered everything, I think. Pretty sure we have. Yes, we have. We've covered the lot. So I've got lots of work to get on with. I will obviously see you all again next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. New Zealand time. Hopefully the clock changey things settle down a bit now. My apologies. I did ask Jacinda to abort it this year, but she wasn't having any of it. So I'll see you again next week. Thanks for all your support. And Simon, again, thank you for sending this through. I really value this, and it's going to save me a lot of time. And time is very precious these days. Okay, crew, can't promise any more videos in the next week, but I'll see what happens. All right, thanks for joining. Cheers. Over and out.